It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin. And our special guest, broadcast Hall of Famer and legendary voice of the Buffalo Bills, John Murphy. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. This past Tuesday was Veterans Day. Veterans Day should be celebrated every single day. I'm sure you know someone that has served or is serving. Celebrate them every single day. Thank you, veterans, all of you who are in the service, and to those who have served, certainly. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin, the Mafia coming up, a special Bills guest as well. We're going to break down the Bucs game coming up on Sunday, but first we have to talk about the Dolphins game. Man, I don't even know where to start, man. You were there, first of all, so talk a little bit about your experience being there as part of the Mafia. I mean, the Mafia always takes over Miami. In fact, I'm watching the game on TV on Sunday, and Mafia just completely drowned out the Dolphins fans. It wasn't even funny. All in all, how was your weekend down there?
Well, it was a fun time in Miami. The Mafia definitely showed up, and they knew there was a game, but it didn't seem like the team on the field really had any ideas that there was supposed to be some sort of intensity out there.
You know, no pass game beyond 10 yards, really. Josh running for his life. I mean, you know, there was that stat that he had all this time in the world to throw. And again, we've talked about this in past shows and past weeks about how he seemingly has happy feet more and more and more and more. He's just not willing to sit in the pocket and find somebody. It's like here, go, right? I think we saw that again in this game. Obviously, the 35-yard touchdown pass to Coleman was fantastic in every stretch of the imagination, right? Back shoulder, perfect. Coleman's physical enough to get it into the end zone. Really great play. But other than that, man, this offense was decimated, and it started, of course, with Kincaid getting hurt.
Yeah, I think Kincaid was probably a big part of that game plan. You saw him get back-to-back plays, and then right after that, he's out. And I'm at the point right now where I love Dalton Kincaid as a player, but how can you trust him if he's never going to be healthy like this? So do we give him a contract this offseason? Where are we in terms of our weapons? Because if that's your only weapon, that's not the answer since he's not on the field enough.
Well, I mean, the only weapon right now for the Bills is your running back, is 4. Mm-hmm. And James Cook didn't touch the ball much. And again, there were times when he wasn't in the game on 3rd and 4th downs.
Well, maybe they're not putting him in because he had that little bit of an ankle shakeup versus the Chiefs. Yep. So, but it does seem like there's some predictability with Joe Brady's offense, and one of those things that you can predict is that Ty Johnson is going to be back there doing a half motion to figure out what coverage there is on every single 3rd down.
We had Mecole Hardman this week. What do you think?
There has to be somebody.
Right?
I mean, Josh Allen has to trust somebody on the field because right now he doesn't trust his receivers. Like I said, getting those happy feet in the pocket, maybe adding a little bit of speed can work some of the underneath stuff a little bit. And, you know, I was watching film, and I've been very critical on these receivers, but what I saw out of somebody like Curtis Samuel was that he's actually getting open. And there's something about Josh Allen this year where he's getting happy feet and leaving the pocket, and he's not waiting for these plays to develop. So it's not that these guys are world beaters getting open right away, but if he would have allow some of these plays to happen, I do think we could have some bigger plays.
Yeah, for sure. And then, again, some of the play call decisions, right? I mean, deciding not to go for it on that opening drive, it's 4th and 1, and they punt.
Yeah, and those are momentum-shifting plays, and I think turnovers had a big role in this game, but I think something that the Bills have had happen this year is when they have some sort of adversity, minus maybe the Baltimore game, there's not much of a bounce back. They don't have the ability to put the ball in Josh's hands and let him pass the ball and get us back in this game, and that's a real problem because that is where we put all our eggs, in the basket of Josh Allen being able to win us games. And if we can't do that, then I don't know what the answer is this season.
Tampa Bay we'll talk about coming up. Bill's special guest coming up next as well as we continue. Stay right here on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas. My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
It gives me great pleasure to have joined the show a guy that in on X when he got in the other night to the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame, so deserved and so long time coming. I said on X, thank you, Murph, for being my dinner date on road trips because you were. And for the couple of years that I traveled with the team and did radio with you and, followed under your mentorship, man, those were some of the best years of my life. Congratulations. Thank you for being that guy for me.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed going there. I really don't miss travel, but I do miss going to different cities for restaurants.
So tell me about the thrill of getting into the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
It was quite an honor. I mean, I grew up, worshiping, Joe Rapero and Richard Martin and Joe Ferguson, those people, and to be in the same Hall of Fame as them is really just something special. I don't consider myself their equal by any stretch of imagination, but I'm going with a good group of media people, Vic Carucci and Larry Falzer and others, and I consider myself one of them more than anything.
Congratulations. I want to move forward now, and we're going to talk Bills, obviously. But obviously, this is, a very, very large part of your professional life was spent at Highmark Stadium, Rich Stadium, the Ralph, New Era, whatever you want to call it, right? What's the emotion going to be like for you when that first wrecking ball goes to that place?
I haven't even thought about that yet. I was at the first game ever played at Ralph Wilson Stadium, when they played the Washington Redskins in the preseason. And I remember walking into that game. I was 15, 16 years old, and walking into the game and coming right at us was Herb Mulkey running the opening kickoff for Washington, 103 yards in the end zone. And we were like, what's happening? How could it be happening? But it was kind of, and I went from there to going to games regularly. I got season ticket for a year or two when I got out of school, and then started doing games in 84. And they were bleak days in 84. They won 2 games each year, 84 and 85, and they were pretty bleak, but they turned it around. I missed the 4 Super Bowl years. They moved to another date, and I knew those games, and I came back, and they immediately stopped going to the playoffs for a while. So, but I stayed around until Josh Allen came, and Josh, of course, has been great and led the Bills to the playoffs since then.
Do you have one, if you could pick it out, one particular moment that stands out to you in that stadium? Besides, you mentioned your first game ever and all of that, but how about as a pro, as a broadcaster, what was your most outstanding moment that you can remember?
I guess I'd have to say when they played Baltimore in the playoffs, and the problem was there's nobody there. There's no, it's a COVID year. There's nobody at the stadium. But Darren, close game, third quarter, Taron Johnson intercepted in the end zone, 2 yards deep, and run it back all the way for a touchdown. That to me was a great call and really the great moment. And really when I thought the Bills, they're for real when Taron Johnson ran back for a touchdown.
Okay, good segue. Because going into the season, everybody thought the Bills were for real. And maybe they still are. So what is your general impression of where this team is right now?
I think they're pretty much where I thought they'd be. There was a terrible loss in Miami last week, an awful loss. And a lot of things went wrong, including the fact that Josh sees the field. Believe me, he sees the field. He sees no receivers open downfield. The guys aren't open. They need receivers. They're not likely to get anybody to make a big difference this season. So that's one problem. The other problem is they can't stop the run. The teams run wild against the Bills. They're 30th or 31st against the run in the NFL. I mean, you can't do that and be a playoff team. They're down there. The teams that are 30th are, the Giants and, these teams aren't any good. And the Bills are supposed to be good, and they can't stop the run. Now, they've had injuries on defense, which hurt them. But, they got to find a way to stop the run. But I think they're going to make the playoffs. I still think they can win the division. The Patriots are good, but they've got some games to play too. but I think it'll be tough to make the playoffs this year. It will be tough. It will be tough to go far in the playoffs. I should say.
Yeah.
It'll be tough to go very far in the playoffs if they don't stop the run.
I feel like the offense is virtually the same in terms of roster, but they have regressed.
I think James Cook is the key, and we've gone this far in the offense and just now adjusting him. He is the second leading rusher in the NFL. He's very, very good. He's better than he was a year ago, and I think they have to continue to focus on him. Without receivers, teams can lock in on the stopping the running game. When they do, the Bills are in trouble. I think the key is to get the receivers to complement James Cook.
WIVB.com. That's where Murph writes his column on the Bills, so make sure you check that out. He is now a Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Famer. Congratulations again on that. We love you, man. I really appreciate you doing that and being part of our show, our little production that we do every week. In our fifth year, by the way. We've been doing this thing for 5 years, so we're very proud of it and happy that we can have someone like you guest on this week. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Okay, team, we're down by 6 with only 1 play left. It's comeback time. Yeah! We need a play. The reverse ribeye, no good. The porterhouse pitch, too risky. The strip steak sweep, that's it. Go Russell!
Touchdown!
Where would you like to have dinner tonight?
Russell's, of course.
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
I was in a car accident. My front tooth cracked. I'm definitely embarrassed to smile. I got mini dental implants. It changed my life because it made me feel like me. Like I can smile and feel like Ashley. I just want to say thank you.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
I'm more than happy. I'm ecstatic.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. It's time to go in the pocket. All right, we are multi-generational on In the Pocket on today's show. Of course, Sam Castronova, UFL quarterback, native of Buffalo, and the youngest Mafia member ever to join us on the program. Would you like to introduce us to him?
What's your name? Tatum.
Tatum's here. Tatum's going to walk us through. We're going to see how good of a wing he has, if it's actually come down from you to him. I'm sure it has.
It has.
Okay.
Might be better, actually. Probably will be.
All right, so let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Obviously, the Bucs come into town. I've always loved Baker Mayfield. I just love his grit. I love his toughness. Doesn't have the greatest arm in the world, but finds ways to make things happen. What do you think the Bills have to do to stop him?
Yeah, honestly, he has a very good arm from what I've seen. Like, he's throwing some Hail Marys out the back of the end zone before for being 6'1". I think he's got an underrated arm in the NFL, but he makes plays. He's got that kind of that Patrick Mahomes thing in the pocket. He feels stuff breaking down, and he can extend plays and find guys open. Honestly, the last few weeks, he hasn't used his legs very much, which has been surprising. I would look for the Bills to probably try and limit that because he's due for one of those big scrambles that he was pulling off the first few weeks of the season. So contain the pocket and make sure he doesn't break out, especially going to his right just like Josh does.
A lot of his weaponry is down, so obviously attack, I'm assuming, Bills defense.
Yeah, attack, and try and make him to make mistakes. He's been a little more prone the last few weeks to throw picks and stuff, so hopefully we can cause some turnovers. Like you said, I've always liked Baker, though, so I kind of hope it's a shootout and the Bills win.
All right, here we go. Tatum, go ahead.
Right here. See it.
Here we go. What kind of arm does he have? Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. You just saw Sam. He's somehow morphed from being just the two of us as today to the entire Mafia table. Welcome, obviously, Jared. Tommy's here for the first time ever. Tommy Pantone, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and it's the Night Tones?
You got it.
Is the band?
You got it. You're hired.
Tell the folks out here about the Night Tones.
The Night Tones, we're a variety band here in Western New York, and we play a couple mainstays throughout the area, doing music from late 50s, 60s, 70s, stuff that you don't hear anymore, stuff that you want to sing, and you just can sit and dance to it. or sit and sing to it, help us out, anything you want to do. We just do the variety stuff, and people seem to enjoy it. So
Where are you playing next so people can watch?
Sure, we are going to be.
What's your website? Whatever. How can people
Yeah,
find
you can find us on Facebook at The Night Tones, just like the Beatles, but we're The Night Tones. We're going to be at the Hamburg Gaming location on I believe Saturday the 13th of December. So come on out. It's free to the public. They've got good food, good drinks, and we'll make their evening go away. Don't have to worry about what's outside the doors for about 4 hours. So.
That's right. Very good. Awesome. Sounds like a good time. Tammy Shaw's here as well, former Jill and big Bills Mafia member, season ticket holder. You were saying that you were very happy you didn't go to the Miami game for reasons that a lot of people ran into in terms of flights, right?
I literally just came back from the Bahamas, so I was in Miami. That's where the cruise left, and I beat all of that mess with the lockdown and all that. So I'm glad I traveled when I did, and I'm staying put for quite a while.
Tommy, I'll start with you. You need some FaceTime. You've got some FaceTime for the Night Tones. We need some Bills Mafia FaceTime here.
Sure.
In this segment. Where are you with this team? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's it, ball game. Although I will argue, and we'll argue this throughout the show, that we've seen this before in the last 3 or 4 years. So where are you with this team in 2025?
You know what? It's come to feel like you need that game somewhere in the schedule, right? I'd rather it not be Miami, but it needed to be that game where you get your nose bloodied and figure out that, maybe stop reading some headlines a little bit. What troubled me a little bit is with the offense looking uninspired, our superstar MVP, reigning MVP quarterback looked ordinary. And I don't like when Josh looks ordinary. He's trying like crazy, and he needs help on the outside. And I think I saw a stat that he had the longest amount of time in the pocket this season, and it didn't help.
Right.
It didn't help because guys can't get open. And the defense is just decimated with injuries, and I know every team has them in the league, but, I blame the CBA. Teams aren't practicing like they used to. Those soft tissue injuries are all over the place. Everybody's dealing with them. And now Kincaid, probably his number one weapon, is gone for a couple weeks. So baling wire and twine.
Yeah, and here comes Joe Burrow back for the Bengals, right? And should be
just
ready
in time. They're
to
targeting the Bills game for him to return. So why not? Bring it on.
Tammy, are you on the same wavelength?
Yeah,
with Tommy?
Every year I always say that it seems like we have the most injuries out of all of the teams in the NFL. So we got to figure out why that's happening. Maybe we need to ask Tom Brady, because I don't think he's ever been hurt, has he? Like, he seems like he's played a long, healthy, career. He eats good. He still looks like he can go out and play. So
well, he's not real, that. Right?
I was saying, I was actually literally thinking, yeah.
Sam, for you, guys, you're a pro quarterback. So what do you make? I mean, it's Keon Coleman all to blame. Everyone wants to blame Keon, right? It's not Keon's fault he got drafted where he did, number one. And number two, this does come down. There are other things in play, right? The play call itself, protection for Josh, all of this comes into play, right?
Yeah. Keon Coleman is not the problem with the Bills offense. Obviously, it would help if he got open a little bit more, but I don't think we're putting him in positions to succeed. 3 or 4 times, Joe Brady called crossers into zone coverage. The guys are just running into coverage. A lot of times, Josh's first read was open, it looked like to me, and he just sat there and stared at it and didn't throw it. And people are scared to ever put any blame on Josh Allen, and it's okay if nobody's perfect, but he has not been playing great. So it's frustrating to watch. I think a big part of that comes down to play calling, but at the same time, I definitely think Josh could play better as well.
I mean, these NFL guys, Jared, that are arguably not as good as the Bills ones, that still get open. I mean, how much of this is on Joe Brady at this point?
I think it's a lot on Joe Brady. I think a lot of it's on Josh Allen. I do think a lot of it is on the wide receivers, and not for the reason that they're not necessarily getting open. I think it's they've lost the trust of Josh Allen. The fact that he looks at his first read and he doesn't throw it, he shouldn't be second guessing. He shouldn't be Trent Edwards again, where you're pumping and pumping and pumping until the wide receiver is there on the flat. And that's what you're seeing out of Josh Allen. And I do think there has to be some sort of reality check, and maybe this game was a reality check, but what happens is if we're hit with any adversity, we really have issues coming back, and we were hit with some adversity early and not moving the ball on offense, and then you lose to Miami.
It don't help when your quarterback looks like a sad puppy on the sideline.
Yeah.
They're losing the game.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I wish the show was longer, because that's one thing I really wanted to get into. I mean, I think Josh at times is almost too nice, right? He wants to be everybody's buddy with the handshakes and all this stuff, and I would like to see him be a little bit more animated. And I know the rah-rah thing is a little bit cliche and overrated, but I would like to see him in guys' faces. I would like to see him having some sort of interaction with the guys on the bench instead of just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right, something. Talk on the sidelines. Even when things are good, have talk on the sidelines. When things are bad, have more talk on the sideline, right? Get on the phone and talk to your OC when you're on the sideline. This is what baffles me, is that they just kind of are going through the motions in these losses in particular, and you're seeing it in these games where they absolutely should not be losing, right? Whether it's that game or the Falcons game, no reason for them to lose. It seems like they come in flat and not ready to play. And I know some people have said, well, that not ready to play, that's player speak for, we weren't good enough or whatever. But I mean, we've all seen it. We all watch it. We all know it. They don't look the same when they're losing to teams that they should never lose to. So I'm sorry I took a little too much time on my soapbox there.
If it happened once this year, so be it. But this is the second or third time.
Yes, really. Exactly. All right, let's get to your prediction, because you got to hope they're home. Weather's going to be okay, right? They're coming off a bad loss. Buccaneers are coming off a couple of bad losses, but we're home. You got to think that has something to do with it in terms of the Bills turning it around again and not going back-to-back losses. So let's get your picks first, and then we'll get to our trivia. Tommy, I need a score from you.
25. I'll never pick against Buffalo.
Okay.
24-21. I think it comes down to 2 minutes. I think with the ball in Josh's hands, whether we win it with a game-winning field goal or whether we're behind and we need the 7 points, I think you're also going to see a James Cook game. You got to keep the defense of Tampa moving. I think you're going to see him moved around in space. Those bubble screens, which we all hate, but I think James Cook can pull that stuff off, and I think that's what you're going to see. New England proved that they could be gash, and they've got a good run defense, but I think they can be gash, and I think you get Cook in space, and that can happen.
You're playing my record music, man, because, man, James Cook just was not used enough against Miami, in my opinion. We've seen that happen far too often. Tammy, what's your score prediction?
I'm thinking it's going to be 20-10, and of course the Bills are going to win.
Okay.
And I think because it is going to rain, so it's going to be a run game. We're not going to be throwing that ball around so that people can accidentally drop it. So Cook is going to be used now that we see that he's healthy enough, and they should have used him, against Miami, and now they know that they should have done that. That's our guy.
Sam, score.
28-27 Bills.
Ooh.
That's close.
Is that a Prater field goal at the end, or do they hold off the Bucs at the end? The Bucs are driving, and they somehow get a stop and win the game.
No, we're just going to go with 28.
All right. Time for a chance at some Tino's dough with one trivia question. It's about a guy that played for both the Bills and the Bucs, but probably most of you didn't even realize that this one particular player ended his career with Tampa. He was a longtime punt returner and wide receiver for the Bills.
Roscoe Parrish?
Yes, he went to the U. Roscoe Parrish
I didn't know that one.
ended his career with the Tampa Bay
Roscoe
Bucs.
Parrish growing up.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't know he finished with the Bucs. I just guessed.
Yeah, and talk about speed, man. That guy has some, huh?
Good fly.
Yeah. Tammy, thank you. Tommy, thank you.
Pleasure.
Great to have you here on the Mafia. Good luck with all the night tones.
Thank you.
All right. Back with more. Jared joins me. We're going to break down the Bills and the Bucs when we come back on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin mini dental implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as one visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associate Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
All right, final segment. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin. We're talking about the teams behind us, the Bills and the Bucs for Sunday. And the Bills, of course, need that bounce-back game. And while the Bucs do too, right? I mean, 2 losses consecutively for them. And it's odd when you think about it, Jared, because, here's the Bills coming off their, air quote, Super Bowl against Kansas City and just lay a terrible egg against Miami. you got to think they're going to rebound in this game.
Yeah, I do think they're going to play better. I think they're going to have a better game plan, especially. But, you know, there has to be an answer offensively to cover zero. There has to be an answer to the zone. There has to be some sort of an answer in there where we have a weapon that can make some plays. Because right now, the only guy out there is Josh Allen and James Cook.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Tampa Bay obviously comes in. Baker Mayfield, super talented guy, does a lot of things in a lot of different ways, a lot like Josh, smaller version.
Yep.
He likes to improvise a lot.
Yeah, I love Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, as a competitor. I love his attitude. Everything about him is awesome. I'm glad he's in the NFC, so I don't have to continue to root against him. This is the only time this year I'll root against him. He throws the ball very well. He's extremely accurate. Reminds me a lot of Drew Brees, but with a little bit of spunk. And he plays it like it every single week, and he's going to give you a game in terms of his effort. You know that Baker Mayfield's going to show up and give a great effort this game. We just got to see if we can have a good effort on the other side defensively.
Yeah, and Baker Mayfield's been in this situation, so have the Bucs. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when they were in Buffalo. Baker Mayfield, this Bucs team, Todd Bowles, they've been in this atmosphere before. This is not new to them.
No, it's not new to them, and I don't think they're afraid of the Bills right now. I don't think anybody's really afraid of the Bills right now, but the Bucs have had a pretty good year. They've had 2 down weeks, and they played a really good New England team, and they kept it close, and I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any stretch. The things that the Bucs do well, we don't do very well, so it's going to be a tough game for us, but I do see us bouncing back.
Yeah, okay, and I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you, obviously, you know, we've been through this the last 3 or 4 years with this Bills team where mid-season everyone's like, the sky is falling, it's terrible, and somehow, usually in the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season, they go on a little bit of a run, and that's exactly when you want them to go on a run, right, as you approach the playoffs and hopefully get in.
Yeah, I don't think the record to me is the worst part of it. I think it's the way that they're playing. I think there's just some sort of disinterest with the offense, and it just doesn't seem like there's an energy for every game that they're getting up for every opponent. And I hope they can really turn a switch because I think these guys need to connect more as a team. It doesn't seem like they're the same close-knit team that they were last year, and it's kind of starting to show on the field. Josh, like they said, sitting alone on the bench. I don't know if that's saying much, but to me it shows that he doesn't want to criticize anybody. And I think there are people to be criticized, and they need some leadership. And hopefully this week Josh steps up and some of the leadership council can step up and whip these guys into shape to play a better game.
Well, maybe the Bills needed 2 more, or they have 2 captains. Maybe they needed 8 going into this game. And I know there's guys that don't technically wear the C that have leadership roles on this team, but they need to start speaking up for sure. All right, let's get your prediction for the game. What do you think?
I do think we're going to win a close game. I like it 24-20.
Yeah, I think the Bills come back as well. I do have the Bills winning. I'm going to take them 27-23 in winning this game. So let's hope, right? We got to get some good feelings, some good vibes from this team because it certainly didn't lend itself to that coming off the Miami win. Got to thank Dr. Todd Shatkin, Dr. Jared, of course, Aesthetic Associates, Sorrentinos, Russells, and Napolis for bringing the show to you, and of course you for watching, and certainly our veterans that are out there. Celebrate them every single day, as we talked about in the open of the show. Enjoy the game. Go Bills, beat the Bucs. Let's start things rolling in an upward trend this weekend. This has been the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Thanks for watching.
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.